Hi guys, I'm Jamie, and this is my individualized teaching and learning presentation. I'm just going to walk you guys through what I will be talking about today. So first we have my introduction and motivation. This will include inclusion in the ECE setting and why it's important. Then we're going to move on to details of solution. In this topic, we're going to cover my focus child's strengths and needs and also different environmental supports. Then we're going to move on to talk more specifically about my focus child, my activities matrix, and our three big goals. Next, we're going to look at my solutions, specifically embedding my teaching plan. And then we're going to talk about my conclusion, what was difficult, and what I would have changed. And then we're going to end with future direction, just extended learning, and then interesting problems or questions. Introduction. Inclusion in early childhood education means utilizing different supports throughout the classroom environment to ensure each child is given the attention and care needed to be successful. It means regularly communicating transparently and respectfully with the child's parents to ensure plans for growth and creating accessibility for all students. Inclusion in the early childhood education setting means classrooms are organized in a way that optimizes the student's development through curiosity, promotes student interaction and collaboration, and accurately reflects individual student needs. Motivation. My main motivation while conducting this case study was to better identify where preschoolers may need additional assistance or support in the classroom environment. Beyond this, I wanted to learn how inclusion and accessibility can further a child's development, not only cognitively, but emotionally as well. Inclusion is important because of the opportunities and experiences it creates to further the learning environment for students as individuals rather than generalized groups. My motivation was to specifically provide inclusion and accessibility to my focus child during our interactions and observations in order to learn how to do the same for multiple students simultaneously in the future. This semester, I had the opportunity to work with Miss Searfoss's preschool class at Dove Mountain STEM School in Marana, Arizona. This is a full day preschool classroom for children ages 4 and 5. It is based out of a C-STEM school, so the preschoolers are working with a lot of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and computers curriculum. So it's a little bit different from a traditional preschool classroom. My focus child was Jasper. He is a 4-year-old preschooler. Some of his strengths included socializing with peers. He was very energetic. He was very kind and very bubbly. He was a student who got along with almost everybody that he worked with. Some of his needs included struggling with writing. He did not like to wait his turn, whether that be in the lunch line or on their way to a new activity. He also had trouble identifying different shapes. In this slide, we're going to talk about the different environmental supports that were utilized in Miss Searfoss's preschool classroom. So first is the cool down corner. This was a physical support that allowed for students to rest, calm down, collect their thoughts or emotions before returning to the activity. So there's a comfy couch, reading books, and stuffed animals where students are able to collect themselves before returning to the next part of their day. Next, we have sticker free time groups. This was a social support. At the beginning of the week, students would use stickers to make name tags for themselves. And the teacher would use this as not only an opportunity to practice a form of letters and writing, but also create regular groups where students can interact with a handful of different peers throughout the week so that they're constantly making new friends and engaging with other students. The last environmental support is temporal, and this is the sound schedule. In Miss Searfoss's classroom, they have a set schedule every day, and students know it's time to move to the next activity on the schedule when they hear certain sounds through the speakers connected to Miss Searfoss's iPod. So this is a good way for students to take different social cues to know what's expected of them or what they should be doing in the classroom, and it helps to reinforce their daily schedule. These are some of the curriculum modifications we use specifically for Jasper during our time spent together. So for adult support, we would assist Jasper in picking different free time activities and providing positive feedback while engaging with him. He struggled to stay in one area and really get to utilize those materials and engage with other students because he was spending so little time at one section during free time and bumping around so much. So, with teachers walking around with him, there was more incentive and a more positive atmosphere where he wanted to focus on materials. Another curriculum modification we used was peer support. So we would pair Jasper with students who are kind, easygoing, and patient to help him encourage, just to help him remain on task during free time, and with positive students who enjoy doing similar activities to him. The last curriculum modification that we utilized with Jasper was an invisible support. So we would arrange the schedule so that free play was after lunch. This way, Jasper had all of his wiggles out and didn't want to hop from station to station as much. He had more of the ability to focus and didn't feel the need to run or jump or use those gross motor skills. Our three big goals while working with Jasper this semester were one, we wanted him not to disrupt peers while they're sharing with the class. Our second goal was that he can write his name with little to no verbal assistance from the teacher. And our third goal was that he understands which block is a square, which block is a triangle, regardless of the different color or sizes. We primarily focused on the goal of being able to write his name with little to no verbal assistance from the teacher. So when I first came into the classroom, his current skill level was traces his name from a stencil provided by the teacher. Our next step beyond this to help work his way up towards his goal was being able to write his name by looking at a model provided by the teacher. The next step was to be able to write his name with almost all the letters as the teacher spelt it for him. And the next step was being able to write all the letters in his name as the teacher spells it for him, eventually to get to our goal of writing his name with little to no verbal assistance from the teacher. So for my embedded teaching, we practiced this Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock, right before snack time. So students were given a paper plate and different colored markers where they were asked to write their names on them. So for the first 2 days, students were given their name tags where they could copy them. For the next 2 days, they were asked to write their names out, but the teacher would come over and spell them out for them right before they were given their treats. And while they were waiting for the teacher, they were asked to decorate the rims. And then during the last day, the teacher would ask the students to write their name out on their plate, and then they would give them their snacks. So they had multiple opportunities practicing those steps throughout the week to help learn how to write their names. So we were primarily focusing on helping Jasper learn how to write his name. we were doing this with the students during snack time, which was roughly around 10 a.m. And we would do it at the children's large group table. So they did have some time to still collaborate with one another as they decorated their plates. And this was primarily between myself, Jasper, his teacher, and his teacher's aide as we went around checking which students were able to write their names and who may need more assistance. So for this particular lesson, it was difficult to individually build relationships with Jasper because he didn't trust me as much as he did his primary teacher. I felt as though with more one on one time, I would have been successful in our goals. If there's one thing I've learned from working with Jasper, it's that children might take a little bit longer to feel comfortable working with you one on one. But once they get to a point where they know that they are safe and these are exciting activities that they are going to enjoy, they're a little bit more receptive and they'll show you a better idea of what their actual abilities are. I wish I had spent more time than just one day a week in the classroom to get a better understanding of the students' needs, strengths, interests, and personalities. I found while I was trying to figure out Jasper's different strengths and what his needs may be in comparison to the class or where he should be developmentally, I was leaning a lot more on Miss Searfoss to get a better idea of Jasper's personality. And I feel like if I had been in the classroom 3 or 4 days a week compared to just one day a week, that would have been a little bit easier and I could have created more individualized plans for him. I hope to take my new views on inclusive learning and utilizing them in the classroom in order to create a more individualized lesson plan that benefits each student. I feel like during this class, we did it on a very small scale. So I'm excited to do something similar to it in my career field where I can apply these different individualized means of learning to a plethora of students at once. I didn't have any interesting problems that resulted from my work, but I did find it interesting that the longer you worked with a student, the more receptive they were to the task being introduced. It made me really reflect on how teaching is a relationally based profession. I found that Jasper did a lot better after we'd been working with each other or visiting for 2 or 3 weeks compared to those first few days when he was just getting to know me. Thank you.